back at it again with another original effect. Now, in my opinion, I think to some degree you could classify this as a magician fooler. Now, obviously it depends on who you're performing this to, because some people are more easily fooled than others, but I think magicians would get a real kick out of this because I think it, completely destroys any thought process that the magician might have during the trick. So yeah, I cannot wait to show you guys the trick. Let me know what you think of it in the comments, and yeah, so let's get on with the performance here. So we can have the deck be completely shuffled by the magician and the spectator. So the spectator can take about half the cards. They can go ahead and shuffle their own little half like this as much as they want to. But essentially what's gonna happen is I'm gonna take little piles of cards like this, doesn't really matter, and we're just gonna kind of throw them on top here, just kind of mixing them up. And we're gonna take turns doing this, and we're essentially going to gather the deck back up, but in the process, we're gonna shuffle the cards even more. So we're gonna take turns throwing little piles of cards here, kind of just, further mixing up the deck. And, just as an extra little precaution, just in case you thought I was memorizing the top or the bottom card, look, I'll take both of those cards, the top and the bottom card, bury them in the center of the deck. So now there's no way I could have like a key card or something like that. So in a minute, I'm gonna give you the deck, and I want you to think of any number between 10 and 20. So don't tell me out loud. But what I want you to do is deal to your number, and when you get to your number, stop. Remember the card in that position that corresponds with your number. You're gonna put the card back where it was, and then take the remainder of the cards that you dealt, and then bury your selection there in the middle. So just take those cards, place them on top. So do this as silently as possible. So don't deal the cards very loudly like that. I want you to deal the cards as quietly as possible so I can't hear. And I'll turn around so I can't even hear how many cards you're counting or anything like that. So I would give the deck over to the spectator, and they would do this silently. Now, let's say they're thinking of a number. I'll put this number on the screen so you can see, but the magician would have absolutely no idea what number they're thinking of. So let's go. And once again, my head is turned, so I cannot see what this card is. I promise I'm not looking at all. Place it back, and those cards go back. So at this point, I would turn around. I have absolutely no idea what number the spectator is thinking of, no idea what their card is, okay? Now, I'm gonna mix up the deck a little bit more here, but all I want the spectator to do is just, they're gonna take another pile of cards, and they're gonna follow along with me for the next process. So I'll have them say stop somewhere. Let's say they say stop right over there. All right, perfect. They can take that many cards, and I tell them to just follow along with me. So look, I'm gonna take some cards here, and it doesn't really matter how many, just a small packet is fine. And I'll go ahead and turn them over like this, facing up, so you can see the cards. And they're gonna do the same, so they'll take a little pile and turn them over facing up like this. Okay, great. So we can even mix these cards up. It doesn't really matter what these cards are. You can mix them up. But now I want you to take another pile of cards and throw them on top, but don't turn them over, leave them facing down, okay? And now you can do this as many times as you want, but now you can decide to do it facing up or facing down. So you can do facing up cards, facing down cards, and we'll just take turns, mixing up the deck in this fashion. And they can take, single cards, turn them over. They can do whatever they want to this order of the deck here. But here, when I square it up, I'll actually spread it out so you guys can really see what's going on here. If I can get it, there we go. But here, look, I'll spread through the cards just like this. Look, I'll even look away so I'm not looking at the cards. But you can really see that these cards are getting mixed, facing up and facing down. So as another added part to this trick, I'll even have you riffle shuffle the deck. So go ahead, give the cards a quick riffle shuffle. So the spectator does this themselves. They're gonna shuffle the deck, and I say, if you want to, you can take cards and turn them over and then shuffle the deck like this. You can take cards, like single cards, turn them over, bury them in the middle like this. It doesn't matter. You guys can do whatever you want to this deck. So this deck is, shuffled completely. There's no order to this deck. There's nothing telling me what your card is in this deck. Like, there's no order, no stack or anything like that. But what I'm still gonna do is I'm gonna try and go through this deck and locate your card, okay? So it might take a second here because of this crazy mess, but I'll try and do it as quickly as possible. Interesting. Okay, I am sensing this card for some reason. I don't know why. Now, before I show you the card, is there any reason why you chose the number 14? Like, is that a lucky number or something? Is there any reason why you chose that? Well, no matter what the reason is, I think it's pretty insane that you landed exactly at the ace of spades. And that right there is the trick. From this shuffled mess, not only can you determine the selection, but also what number the spectator was merely thinking of. Yeah, so let's get on to the tutorial. All right, guys, so here's the tutorial for the trick that you just saw. So yeah, as you can see, you take a completely borrowed, shuffled, impromptu deck of cards. You completely destroy any type of order to the deck. You shuffle it beyond recognition, and then you have the spectator think of any number. They remember a card in that position. Then you further shuffle the cards even more. Not only can you locate the spectator's card, but you can also tell the spectator what number they were thinking of. Yeah, that's pretty insane. So let's get into the tutorial for how this is done. So the key to how this trick is done, I actually just gave a hint right away. Yes, this is a key card trick, but it's not really a key card from the top or the bottom of the deck. It's actually a key card from the middle of the deck, which I just think is so fooling. They really should start taking advantage of this principle a lot more. So yeah, let's get into how it's done. So yeah, like I said, this trick is impromptu, so the deck is shuffled. You're gonna give half the deck to the spectator. They're also gonna shuffle their half. Now what you're gonna do is start throwing little piles of cards face up from your half. And now these cards are completely shuffled, so it doesn't matter where you start from. You're gonna take 4 groups of 3, okay? So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now this is how I'm gonna get my key card. So when I do the 4th group of 3, the last group of 3, my key card is going to be the card in this position right here. The middle card in the last group of 3, 7 of spades. That is gonna be my key card. I can do this again with another card so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So we'll take, all right, 3, 3, 3, and 3. Boom. In this case, let's do ace of diamonds. This is going to be my key card. Now I'm going to remember this card, and we're gonna further shuffle cards on top. Now the spectator can, join in. They can also shuffle cards. The rest of the deck doesn't really matter because your key card is obviously gonna stay on the top of the deck there. So these cards can get shuffled all over on the bottom, and it will not disturb the top half of the deck. Once these cards are squared up, you're actually gonna do 2 things at once. So you're gonna make it seem like you're destroying another aspect of how the trick could be done, but in reality, you're actually kind of setting up for the trick even more. So your key card is actually the 11th card now from the top. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So your ace of diamonds is here, and all you want to do is move it so it's actually the 10th card from the top. This is exactly how I do that. So I say, look, I can even take the top card, bury it in the middle, and take the bottom card and bury it in the middle. All that does is it just removes 1 card from the top of the deck. So now your card is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10th card from the top right there, the ace of diamonds. But at the same time, you burying the top card also makes it seem like you're getting rid of a key card. So now there's no aspect of a key card. And if you're showing this to a magician, they will know what you're talking about. And now they're gonna believe you when you say that now there can't be a key card because I just buried the top and bottom card. So at this point, you're gonna instruct the spectator to think of any number between 10 and 20. They can think of any number and tell them to not say it out loud. You're gonna tell them to deal the cards just as quietly as possible. Deal that many cards down, remember the card in that position, place the card back, and then take the remainder of the cards and bury them on top. For this case, let's say the spectator is thinking of 16, okay? So they're gonna do this, and you're gonna turn around. The magician is not gonna be able to see what's happening, but they're gonna deal their number. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and the 16th card. This is gonna be the card that they look at and remember. So in this case, we have the Queen of Hearts here, but the magician would not know this. So then they're gonna take the card, place it back on top of the deck, take the remainder of the cards and also place them on top of the deck. So that's the first part of the trick right there. So now their card is selected, and now you're gonna turn back around. You're gonna take the deck back, and this is all I do. I just cut about half the deck, maybe even a little bit deeper than half, just to be safe. And then I'm gonna just continue swing cutting little packets on top like this and hold a break so that I mark the spot where this is actually the original top half of the deck. And now I'm gonna ask the spectator to just say stop whenever they want to. They're gonna say stop, and you're gonna do a riffle force. They're gonna tell you to stop right here, but it doesn't matter because you're just gonna break the cards at the pinky break and give this pile to the spectator. And this is gonna be just random cards. But the original top half of the deck is right here. So now you have full control of their selection, and they have no control because these are completely random cards. So now what you're gonna do is tell the spectator to follow the leader. And this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna spread off 10 cards from the top. This is no matter what number they choose. Every time you're gonna spread off 10 cards. And this is how I do it. I count groups of 3. So 3, 6, 9, and then I just do one more. That's 10 cards. I'm gonna turn these cards over and spread these cards out. Every single time, no matter what number they chose, between 10 and 20, your key card is always going to be in this pile. And this is the part of the trick when you are actually going to find out what number the spectator picked between 10 and 20. And it all depends on where your key card is in this pile of 10 cards. Basically, all I wanna do is just find out where my key card is. I can take all the cards above my key card and just get rid of them. All I care about is my key card and the cards below my key card. This many cards total, I can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards. This means that the number that the spectator chose was 16. It's always going to be 10 plus whatever this number is, including my key card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 10 plus 6 is 16. Now I know that the spectator picked the 16th card, and now I can get rid of this. I can shuffle the cards, put them back here, and the spectator is gonna do this too. They're gonna flip over a pile, they're gonna shuffle these cards and put them on top. So now that you know that the spectator picked 16, you know that their card is actually 6 cards down from this pile here because you just counted 10 cards. So that means their card is going to be 3, 6 right here, the Queen of Hearts. And you're gonna do exactly that. So you're gonna count 6 cards, however many cards you need to get to their card. So they chose 16, so I'm gonna count 6 cards just like this to get to their card. And I'm not gonna rearrange the order. I'm just gonna count 6 cards and instantly drop this pile on top. And now I can continue and do some more shuffling. And they're gonna do the same thing. And now you tell them, we're gonna further shuffle the cards by doing face up, face down. And as you can see, this part doesn't really affect the deck because once again, their selection has already been controlled here. Now, it may not look like it's been controlled, but you'll see what I mean when I show you the other side of the deck. So when I pick up the deck, all I'm gonna do is pick up the deck from this orientation here, and I'm gonna rotate it so that the spectator will now be looking at this end, but I, the magician, is going to be looking at this end of the deck. So I'm gonna be spreading out the cards, showing the spectator this side of the deck. So they are gonna see this, but I am going to see this. What's gonna happen is there's gonna be a huge block of face down cards, and boom, the first face up card, always their card. Now I know what number they chose and what their card is, Queen of Hearts. And all I do is I spread out the cards and I say, so look, I won't even look at the cards. So instantly, I'm looking at the cards here, and right as I see that, I'm just gonna spread past it and say, look, I won't even look at the cards. And then I turn my head away. I just say, look, you can see, we just shuffle these cards together. Everything's completely messed up. And there you go. So that's basically the end of the trick right there. Now you can proceed however you want to. This is how I do it. So I have the spectator give the deck some more riffle shuffles just so that it completely messes up the order of the deck even more, but it doesn't matter because now you know what their card is, the Queen of Hearts, so you can easily find it later if you need to. You can tell them to flip over cards, you can tell them to just bury individual cards, like they can really mess up this deck as much as they want to. So once they do this, you're gonna tell them, look, I'm gonna go through the deck and try and find your card. And this is how I proceed with the next part. So I just look for their card. Oh, here, coincidentally, it's on top, but I would hope that it's somewhere in the middle because then it would make it a little bit more random. So when I find their card, this is what I do. I pull it out here, and before I show it to them, I'm just gonna hit them with this line that's just gonna blow them away. I'm gonna hit them with this line that says, so is there any reason why you chose 16? Like, is that a lucky number or something? And this is just gonna catch them so off guard because they thought of this number in their head. They didn't tell you at all. You didn't see what number they counted, and there's no way that you could know what this number is. They can respond to that line however they want to. I personally think that's just a really, really subtle, kind of strong line to say. It makes this trick even more fooling, honestly. And then I say, so whatever the reason is, it's really interesting because you stopped exactly at the Queen of Hearts. And then boom, you flip their card over, and then I just like to spread out the deck here and show this crazy mess of cards. Like, there's no way I could have determined this was their card out of this, you know, crazy mess of the deck. And yeah, that is the trick, guys. So as you can see, the actual method is pretty simple, but it does require a little bit of practice. Practice this trick as much as you can before you go out and perform it. And yeah, if you guys have any magician friends, please show this to your magician friends and let me know if they were fooled, because I think this is a pretty awesome fooling card trick. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the trick, and see you guys next time. Bye.